Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 27 of McDougall's Maximum Weight Loss Challenge. So, I have a child that's homesick. Actually, he went back to school yesterday, and my husband is super sick, but not like incapacitated, just super stuffy and achy and just not feeling good and super exhausted. And then I woke up this morning at 1:30 and would have normally gotten up. I get up when I wake up if it's an appropriate time to get up. Otherwise, I lay in bed till it's an appropriate time to get up. But that's a normal time for me to get up. So I would have gotten up, but I just felt horrible, like totally drained and super, super tired and a really bad headache. So I laid in bed until like 3:15. I didn't go back to sleep, but I laid in bed for that long. Which basically all that amounts to is that I feel a little bit better rested, which is great, but I don't really have time to cook anything. So I am actually, and I kind of wanted to make something that would be appropriate for my husband because he's not feeling very well. And so what do you think when you think of foods that your comfort foods when you don't feel well? Chicken noodle soup, and then you're supposed to eat apples and stuff, right? Okay. I'm not worried about the apple part so much. But I figure I could make, I'm not gonna do noodles on the challenge, but I could do a chicken and rice soup, and that would be good. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. I've got some ingredients out in front of me that I'll show you what I'm putting together. This is going to be a not measuring recipe at all. This will be actually fairly easy. So one of the reasons that I wanted to do this also is because I've got the leftover rice from yesterday. Not a ton, but enough that if I boil it with some soup vegetables for maybe half an hour, not boil, but like a fast simmer, it'll turn out really well into a soup. So you could make this into a chicken soup and rice soup if you wanted to, just by adding some soy curls. That would work really well. Or if you wanted to add a few more potatoes to this, that would actually work out really well too. Anything that it is that gives it more of a substantial type consistency to you would be fine. But what I'm going to do, I have a bag of vegetable soup mix in my freezer that doesn't have like flavoring or anything with it. It just has vegetables in it. But it's been in there for a while, and I figured this would be the perfect application for this. So anyway, that's what that looks like. Not a huge okra fan, although we used to get okra at a really, really, really cheap price when we lived up north, not north, but like further north than we live here now, from a lady that had a vegetable garden, and she would give us like these big, huge, massive, massive boxes of okra when she had leftover from whatever she didn't sell on her vegetable stand for the day, and we would just pay her like nothing for it practically. I mean, I paid her for it, it just wasn't what it would have been worth if she'd been able to sell it. And then, excuse me, my mom, my husband, and I would prepare them and cut them and do everything that needed to be done. Anyway, my husband would make pickled okra, and it was good. It was a little bit slimy, but not bad, like you think of okra. And I really like deep fried okra with ranch. I haven't had that in a really long time, but I remember liking it and thinking it was good. So anyway, there's some okra in here, and that's gonna go in the soup, and that's just the way that goes. And if it's slimy, then maybe I'll just pick it out. I don't know. But anyway, in this vegetable soup mix, it's carrots, potatoes, corn, green beans, green peas, baby lima beans, okra, celery, and onions. And of all the craziness, when I was a kid, I loved lima beans. Like, loved them. My mom would buy mixed vegetables in the freezer, and one of the things in them back in the day were lima beans. And I would pick out the lima beans to eat, and I didn't want to eat the rest of it, but I love lima beans. That is not the case anymore. I'm not sure where my love of lima beans went, but it's long gone. However, I don't think that, I don't know, I like edamame now. I like peas for the most part. I like green beans for the most part. I think that I will tolerate a lima bean just fine. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to let you know. Anyway, that is going in my pot. That is right here on the counter. Oh, hey, there's a top to an okra in here. We're not going to cook that part. Let's see. So this is the amount of rice that I have left over. And it did have two little onion chunkies in it, the pearl onions. So I squished them with my spoon. I cut it in half, and then I squished it with the back of the spoon to separate it out a little bit. So that's approximately the amount of rice that's going in there. So in go the vegetables, in go the rice on top. And then for seasonings, I don't know if you guys remember yesterday, this rice was cooked with water with bouillon. So it does have some flavoring to it already, so you don't need quite as much if you're going to put something in there. I am going to put a sprinkling of black pepper across the top. And I'm going to put, these are just basic soup spices to me. This is what I want to put in my soup. A little bit of rosemary. If I can get it open, there we go. A little bit of rosemary sprinkled across the top and some thyme sprinkled across the top. If I was going to cook this for a while, I would actually also put a bay leaf in here, maybe even 2. But I'm not going to be cooking it for that long. So this is what it looks like before it's going to be cooked. And what I'm going to do is add water up to below the vegetable line, below the rice line. So I'm going to add enough water so that it almost covers what's in there. And then I'm going to put a lid on it and I'm going to let it boil for probably about half an hour. The rice is not going to be soggy because it's brown rice. It will absorb some water. And I am looking to make a soup, not a stew. So that is why I'm going to add that amount of water to it. And then I will probably add another teaspoon, because I'm probably going to add at least 3 cups of water to this, I imagine. I'm not going to measure it, but that's probably about what it'll be. Maybe even 4. Probably 3. I'm going to add 1 more teaspoon of the Better Than Bouillon No Chicken base to it, but not enough to make it where it would be super salty. I'm just looking for a really nice, light, no chicken type soup. So I'm going to take some of this with me today, and I'm going to leave some for my husband so he can have some soup either for breakfast if he chooses to, or for lunch if he chooses to, whatever the case. So anyways, I'm gonna go get this started, seeing as I'm already starting to run late as it is. It's already almost 4 o'clock. So I know that's not running late for most people. 4 o'clock in the morning is pretty darn early still, but for me, that's running late. So anyway, I'm gonna get started and I will see you guys when it's cooked. Alrighty guys, so this has been at a fast simmer, like a really low boil, for about 10 minutes now. It's starting to get to the point where it's really absorbing the water really well, so I'm actually going to call this done at this point. But isn't that beautiful? I'm really excited about this. Look at all those veggies in there. So I'm going to let this cool down for a few minutes before I tell you what it tastes like, and tell you if it needs any additional flavoring, but I really don't think it's going to need any. My house smells fantastic. So I'm going to let it sit here and cool for a few minutes, turn it off, and I will be with you guys to taste it in just a few minutes. Alrighty guys, so I might have been attempting to make soup, but that is not what I made. I definitely made more of a congee type dish, which is fine. I absolutely love congee, which is just essentially rice porridge with vegetables. However, this definitely tastes like chicken noodle soup. So chicken and rice soup. This is really good, like really tasty. I am totally excited about my husband getting up later and trying some of this. So it just looks like rice and veggies, but it's very creamy, and the flavoring is just totally spot on. I think that you could have used just regular rice and added just a little bit more bouillon to it. I added, was that half a teaspoon or a teaspoon? I think it must have been a teaspoon. About a teaspoon worth to the rest of it when it was finishing cooking, and that was perfect amount. This is really good. Like, I'm super excited. I made just enough for him and I to have a serving, not a super big serving, but a serving nonetheless, and it's got some potatoes in it and rice in it, so it's going to be filling anyway. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. It's really hot. Even though I told it to cool down and turned it off and everything, I said, okay, here you go, cool down now. It didn't listen. You know what this tastes like, actually? It tastes like absolutely like the insides to a chicken pot pie. That's what this tastes like. So I am ridiculously excited about this because it's like chicken pot pie without the chicken. So I guess I meant to make healthy for you chicken pot pie nerds. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever it is supposed to be. This is really tasty. So I need to go pack up and get my stuff ready to go, and I hope you guys are having a good day so far, and I will see you on my drive home. Alrighty guys, so I have left work, and I ate my chicken and rice, no chicken and rice soup, whatever you want to call it. It really was like pot pie insides, for real. It was delicious. I ate that actually when I first got to work. I was pretty hungry early on, so I ate, I don't know, 8 o'clock maybe? 7:30? Something like that. Anyway, it was fabulous. It was really tasty. And then this afternoon I had my rice and Brussels sprouts with the onions in it, and that was also very good. So baked rice was a hit. I actually really enjoyed that. That was very tasty too. I am actually a little bit hungry. I don't know what I'm going to eat when I get home because recipe for gluten-free waffles. They don't have a lot of sugar in them. He lets the kids use maple syrup to dunk the pieces of the waffle in as they tear them into pieces if they're not using forks usually. Sometimes, whatever. Anyways, but my daughter and her husband were driving through. His grandpa had passed, and so they had driven up to the funeral, and so they were driving back through, and apparently she's at the house, so they're having waffles. And my other daughter came home from college for the night for a few hours so that she could see her sister, which is pretty cool. So I'm not sure exactly how many of those people will be home when I get home, but food might not be on my list of things to have right away when I first get home. So I know that my